Today I invite you to dive into the mind of one of the most enigmatic and visionary artists in comic book history, Steve Ditko. You may know his work, but how much do you really know about the man behind Spider-Man and Doctor Strange? Ditko wasn't just an artist, he was a creative force, an innovator who shaped the very essence of superhero storytelling. His fluid drawings, his surreal landscapes, his philosophical conviction, these weren't just artistic choices, they were windows into a mind that saw the world in stark contrasts of right and wrong, chaos and order. Yet, despite his monumental contributions, Ditko remained a mystery, shunning the spotlight while his creations soared into pop culture legend. Buckle up, because we're about to explore the story of Steve Ditko, his brilliance, his uncompromising ideals, and the timeless legacy he left behind. Stephen John Ditko was born on November 2, 1927 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. His parents were second-generation Americans of Russian descent, and his father, Stefan, was a master carpenter with artistic talent. Ditko's early exposure to art came from his father, but his passion for comics was ignited when he discovered Batman and the Spirit, two characters that deeply influenced his artistic sensibilities. After high school, Ditko enlisted in the U.S. Army, where he contributed to military publications by drawing comics. Upon returning home, he pursued formal education at the Cartoonist and Illustrator School in New York City, studying under Jerry Robinson, the legendary Batman artist. This training refined his skills and prepared him for a career in the comic book industry. Ditko's professional career began in 1953, working in the studio of Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, initially as an inker. He soon found a home at Charlton Comics, where he produced science fiction, horror, and mystery stories. His work at Charlton was characterized by moody atmospheres, intricate line work, and surreal storytelling, elements that would later define his contributions to Marvel. During this period, Ditko co-created Captain Atom, a superhero who would later become a staple in DC Comics. His work at Charlton allowed him to experiment with storytelling techniques and develop his distinctive artistic style. Ditko joined Atlas Comics, the precursor to Marvel Comics, in the late 1950s. This would mark a milestone in his career with one of the creations that would lead him to immortality in the comic book industry and in popular culture in general. In 1962, Stan Lee approached Ditko with an early concept of Spider-Man after rejecting Jack Kirby's initial designs, which depicted the character as more muscular and heroic. Ditko envisioned something different, a lean, agile teenager, emphasizing vulnerability and realism. He designed Spider-Man's red and blue costume, complete with webbing patterns, expressive eyes, and a full-face mask, which set him apart from other superheroes who typically exposed part of their face. Ditko's storytelling emphasized Peter Parker's struggles, making him a relatable and flawed hero. His cinematic panel layouts, expressive character designs, and dynamic action sequences delighted the public and paved the way for Spider-Man to become a global icon for generations to come. Ditko also co-created many of Spider-Man's most famous villains, including Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Sandman, and the Lizard. Ditko's fluid, dynamic poses captured Spider-Man's acrobatic movements, making him feel distinct from other heroes. The way Ditko illustrated Spider-Man clinging to walls, swinging through the city, and contorting his body mid-air became a defining visual element of the character. Steve Ditko's role in the creation of Spider-Man is one of the most significant contributions to comic book history. While Stan Lee initially conceived the idea of a teenage superhero with spider-like abilities, it was Ditko who brought the character to life visually and narratively, shaping Spider-Man's iconic costume, movement, and world. By issue number 25 of The Amazing Spider-Man, Ditko was credited as the plotter, meaning he had significant creative control over the stories. However, tensions between Ditko and Stan Lee grew, leading to Ditko's departure from Marvel in 1966. While working on Spider-Man, Ditko also illustrated Doctor Strange, a mystical superhero introduced in Strange Tales number 110 in 1963. Ditko's surreal landscapes, mind-bending dimensions, and intricate magical battles defined Doctor Strange's world, making it one of the most visually unique comics of the era. After leaving Marvel, Ditko worked for DC Comics, where he created the Creeper, Hawk and Dove, and Shade, the Changing Man. His work at DC was marked by his growing interest in philosophy, particularly Objectivism, the philosophy of Ayn Rand. This influence was most evident in his independent creation Mr.A, a character who embodied strict moral absolutism. Unlike superheroes such as Batman or Spider-Man, who struggle with ethical choices, Mr.A sees the world in binary terms, good and evil, right and wrong. He believes that compromise leads to corruption and that justice must be delivered without hesitation. His calling card, a half-black, half-white card, symbolizes this rigid moral stance. Ditko's artistic approach to Mr.A reflects his philosophical convictions. The character's design is stark, with a white suit and fedora representing purity and justice. His steel mask, devoid of emotion, reinforces his unwavering commitment to truth. Unlike the fluid, dynamic poses of Spider-Man, Mr.A's movements are deliberate and forceful, emphasizing his unyielding nature. Ditko's panel compositions for Mr.A's stories are rigid and structured, often using sharp contrasts between light and shadow to reinforce the theme of moral clarity. His use of text-heavy narration ensures that the philosophical message is explicit, leaving no room for interpretation. Ditko continued to work for Charlton Comics, revamping Blue Beetle and creating The Question, another character influenced by his philosophical beliefs. Ditko's artistic style was distinctive and instantly recognizable. His characters often had angular features, expressive faces, and exaggerated body language. His panel compositions were dynamic, often using diagonal layouts to create a sense of movement and urgency. His influence on the comic industry is immeasurable. Spider-Man remains one of the most popular superheroes of all time, and Doctor Strange's visual aesthetic continues to inspire artists and filmmakers. Despite his reclusive nature, Ditko's work has been celebrated in numerous exhibitions. His original Spider-Man and Doctor Strange artwork has been displayed in comic book museums and galleries worldwide. His contributions to the industry were recognized when he was inducted into the Will Eisner Award Hall of Fame in 1994. Ditko remained private throughout his life. He refused interviews, declined to attend conventions, and preferred to let his work speak for itself. He continued to create comics independently, publishing philosophical works and news stories until his passing in June 2018. His legacy is undeniable. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange have become global icons, appearing in movies, TV shows, video games, and merchandise. Ditko was a visionary artist, a philosophical thinker, and a creative force who shaped the comic book industry in profound ways. His contributions to Marvel, DC, and independent comics have left an indelible mark on popular culture. Though he remained an enigma, his work speaks volumes, ensuring that his legacy will endure for generations to come.